Everyone, welcome to the void that is my room at nighttime. I figured I'd do a longer form educational type video. This has been something I've been wanting to do for a while, which is tournament recaps. And unfortunately, I've wanted to do this since my first ever tournament, but obviously I now have like 8 tournaments under my belt, and I just started channel now. So I think I'm gonna just start recapping them over the next couple days, just trying to get through all of them so we're all caught up, and then I'll just go back to normal making videos. So hopefully we can learn a thing or two from how badly I messed up. Now, this was August of 2022, so over a year ago, over a full year ago, right before I went into freshman year. It was one of my friends, and we went in, him being rated 1500 online and me being 1300. We both played in the U1600 section, which in over the board means that only people with a over the board, so not online rating, with an over the board rating of 1600 or less can play in it. So let's see how I did in my first ever tournament as a 1300 online. Surely I should do good. First up, we have a 908 rated player named Aiden. He plays E4. Now, you'll notice that my openings are a bit different than they were, because I play E5. This is something that I play in tournaments when I'm not feeling super confident in what I've prepared, and I just want to see what they have. We get Knight F3, Knight C6, and Bishop D5, Roy Lopez. I play the Berlin. This is the main line. He castles, I take a pawn, he attacks, I move back here, all mainline stuff. I still knew my theory back then. He takes my knight, I take back, doubling my pawns here, but not that bad. His knight takes, I block. Now, if I hadn't blocked, he could have this dangerous idea of wherever his knight moves, it would be check, and he would just absolutely destroy me. So I blocked the check. As you can see, we are still completely even. So he's good. He puts his queen here, lining up an attack. I go here, looking to preemptively guard my bishop or potentially attack the queen. He goes here. Now keep in mind that these games are 90 minutes, so we have a ton of time to think in all the tournaments I'm going to be showing. I'm going to try to get through 5 rounds tonight, all 5 rounds of the tournament, and you have a ton of time, so it's a lot harder to make mistakes. That is why your over-the-board rating is a lot more exact than your online rating, because online, it's super fast. So I go here, I attack his queen, the queen moves, I castle. Still completely equal. He attacks my knight, making him move away. I go for something creative, but the computer will rate this as an inaccuracy. Also, by the way, if you notice my background change, I'm messing around with new stuff. I like this. He takes my knight, I take his knight, he takes back, gets a pawn here. I don't know why I did that. I make a mistake, which is attacking this pawn. Now, funnily enough, going up one more is a better move. This is a mistake because of this. Develop a knight and attack my queen. If I were to go here, he doesn't have that. So I develop my queen. He puts his queen here. No idea why he does this move. So I put more pressure on this backwards pawn. He develops a bishop. I take it. He takes trade off, already an endgame. Develops a knight. I attempt to pin this knight. He attacks my bishop. I move back. And he starts throwing his pawns at me. So let's see what he has. I go here, looking to trade off bishops. He takes, I take. Why this is a mistake is because I should have taken with this to open up my rook. However, I did not like having a perfect square of pawns. This did not look very pleasant, so I did this. He gets a nice connect 4 pawn chain. I'm terrible at drawing arrows. I develop a rook. Why this is a mistake? Does nothing. He starts throwing more pawns at me, looking to storm down my king and promote. I get my other knight in. He goes back. Here, I should make no mistakes. I should take this. Let's say he takes back. Takes. Suddenly I get my rook in. My rook's more active. It can like go here. I'm going to have a lot better chances in the end game. That doesn't happen. I jump the gun, and I go here. He finds this blue. This means great move. It is the only good move. Pinning my bishop. I look to thrust at this pawn. If he takes, I can take with check, and then I'll collect another pawn. So, He sees this and he puts more pressure on the bishop. I find the only good move, guarding the bishop. He pushes. Suddenly he has 2 passed pawns. This is very scary. I take a free pawn. Now, this is a miss because the best move is actually bishop takes f1. Here. It is. These are all the computer moves for like the best. For what the best move is. I should have just taken here and then taken the pawn. That's a simple mistake. Now, what is... There we go. Okay. He blocks check. Another great move. I move back here. At this point, I had like an hour and 5 minutes on my clock, and he had like 30. So he was spending a lot more time thinking than I was. And it's paid off because he's an advantage. He pushes. I find the only good move. Bring my king in. He makes a mistake. Puts his knight here. Does nothing. So I get my bishop finally out of the attack of the knights. Of the rooks. We trade rooks. He attacks my bishop. I move it back. Brings his king in. I bring my king in. Suddenly his pawns are stopped by my king. He moves king forward. I check him. And I start pushing my other pawns forward. Now suddenly I'm throwing my pawns at him. He makes a mistake. He allows this. Takes a pawn. I take his knight. He goes here. I take this. And he resigns. So that's win number 1. I managed to win my first ever over-the-board game. And pretty good start of the tournament against a solid player. I was like, oh, I got this. I got this. So, go to the next game. Tiny bit stronger of an opponent. We get a 13-24 over-the-board rate opponent. This guy has been playing chess like 8 tournaments a year for like 30 years. So if I was going to win this, I was going to have to fight for it. And you could call it that. E4. I'm a man of class. We get a French. I play the advanced French. We go through mainline theory, except clearly I do not know that you need to go here first. Now I go here. However, it is a bit slow because he has this tactic. That's a really cool move. I take this. He takes... I'm terrible at drawing arrows. He takes my bishop. And there's a lot of other nasty ideas. Like if he goes here, I take... Suddenly he can go back. So he can just win a pawn. He misses it. I guard my bishop. He misses. That's a free pawn. I make a discovered threat. So he moves his queen, and I blunder the pawn again. Don't know what I'm doing. He misses it. I take, he takes, and finally, I guard the pawn. Took me long enough. Bishop goes out, and I start throwing my other pawns forward. I'm going to turn off the evaluation graph because it's going to be all over the place. Bro, why is this random break? Ooh. Spoiler alert. Castles. I attack his knight. He moves it, and I get my queen here, stopping any ideas of him coming to here. He goes there anyways. I take, he takes, and I put my queen on this square to back up this pawn. He goes here, and I don't know why I did this. I should have just castled. Dumb of me. Takes, I take with the knight, he takes my bishop, I take his, queen here, and I don't like this because my king's in the open, and he can start attacking me. He misses it. Goes for a pawn, which I defend. Supports these pawns. I try to trade queens. He declines. I think I'm just guarding. I'm trying to guard this pawn when instead I should just push that. Maybe I was afraid of this, but I can just move out of the way. Okay, misses it. I attack his queen. He moves his queen up, and I develop a pawn. I guess I want a pawn storm him. Brings his rook down. Okay. I bring my rook up. He brings his rook up. I block it, and I attack queen. Creative move here. If he takes, I take. His rooks are forked. Cute tactic. He sees it. I attempt to repeat moves. He doesn't want to draw. So I go, fine. I'm going to move back and try to attack you. He attacks my knight. I guard it. His queen comes in to attack me, and he offers trade. I accept, and I stop the pawn. He puts more pressure on a knight that is guarded 2 ways. Very dumb of him. Terrible game by me and my opponent. I go g3. He attacks a pawn that is guarded. I attack his bishop. Okay. Here's a losing move. I go here. Cute little X-ray tactic. I offer a trade. Looking to trade off. Get some really nice pawns. So he backs it up. I take this. Suddenly the rooks guard each other through the rook. Cool little tactic. Takes. Now I'm just up a full rook. We trade. I push. And if he goes for this, I go for this. And I win. Second game against 13-24. That was a pretty terrible game between us, but I'm actually turning on the evaluation now. As you can see, I am completely winning. Now, just not a great game. I guess we'll move on. We'll move on. Yeah, that's what it is. So, next game, Noah Han. I've won 2 in a row, so they put me up against someone even better. The Void is sponsored by Pretzel Bites today. We get e4. I'm a Sicilian player now. In the first round, I played e5, but now I'm more aggressive. Sicilian. Here. He goes for an Alapin. I go for a Fianchetto idea. Take. Give him bishop out. He guards the pawn. I make inaccuracy. I think I should have gone here instead. It's alright. I strike the center. Not a great move because suddenly he can lock it down and then my bishop is really bad. As you can see, my knight moved back. Maybe I... These pretzel bites are not good. They're not easy to swallow. Alright, knight moves back. Why he already has an advantage is that my bishop is blocked in. And your bishop wants to see things. It wants to see as many squares as possible. So when it only sees the back of a pawn, it's not great. He goes here. Apparently he doesn't like this pin. So I strike the center. Looking to break it open. He takes. I take. I go after his bishop. He checks me. I block it. We trade off bishops. He puts his queen here. Looking to maybe trade. Bring us down, stuff like that. It's a great question why I moved here. I should have just taken here. He takes back. Actually, I can just draw this out. He takes back, and I develop. Castle. I don't. I go here. He goes here. I go back. Okay. Bishop here. I attack his knight, and I open up my bishop. He goes here, looking to attack it. I take a pawn. He finds the only good move. It's like a sort of forking thing. I take his bishop. He takes, and I go here. I should just develop. Don't think twice. This is the move that loses me the game. As now he gets this. He gets this super strong knight. So I develop my knight. He takes a pawn. Very, very creative tactic. If I take here, he gets checked. Let's say the king moves to here. Picks up a knight. Very creative. So that doesn't happen. I go here, looking to bring my rook up to attack and guard that square. He castles. I go for this plan. However, the only reason all these are bad moves, I just need to take. Rook here. Suddenly, his knights are connected. I try to trade. Takes. Queen here. I have to take here, because otherwise, he comes down and blasts me. Takes. and I get my queen pinned. I'm down to the count 26 moves. Brutal game. I got my ass whooped in that game. But he was a great player. He went on to win the tournament. So I would like to say that's a common pattern in a lot of tournaments I play. The people I lose to end up winning. So take that as you will. But I think that was a very instructive game, which is don't block in your bishop. And don't overthink. Pretty good. Round 4. Now we are on day 2 of the competition. We're on day 2. You saw nothing. So, e4. We get Caro-Kann, advanced Caro-Kann. Similar to the French. He pins me, I pin him. Here, takes. Bishop here to cover up everything. Queen here. I offer a queen trade. He attacks. I trade queens, and I back up my knight. Basically already in a very complex endgame. He develops. I attack his bishop. Takes. I take. He goes after my bishop. I castle. Takes. My rook is open. I'm okay with this. Bishop here. Developing, getting ready to castle. I bring my knight back, looking to reroute for a pawn break. He castles. I go for the wrong pawn break. So he puts his rook here, looking to double rooks. I take. He takes. I helped him undouble his pawns, and I get this very powerful pawn chain. Both of us have these pawn chains. However, mine will become weaker with this move. Why this move is not good is because it gives this concept of something called a backwards pawn. You see this pawn here? This little C pawn. It is the only thing keeping these locked pawns in place like that. This C pawn is the only thing that happens. And so if this pawn falls, I lose because all the pawns fall, which you'll see. He backs it up. I take, he takes, suddenly he can come down. So I take the file first. He goes here, making sure that his king can escape. I go here. I take more space. He has quite an advantage, but nothing crazy. He brings his rook down to attack this. This is the losing move of the game. Now, what I should do here is counter threat. He attacks a pawn. So I attack a bishop. Quite logical stuff. I go here because I miss his next move, which he finds after 15 minutes of thinking. So this guy sits there and he goes, for 15 minutes. And I'm like, what is he thinking about? What did I miss? Bishop g5. Brutal. If you don't know why it's brutal. The pawn falls. Remember what I said about the pawn falling? Well, the engine agrees. I'm screwed. Black's already built a significant advantage. Suddenly it's a pass pawn now. So I try to throw him a pawn forward. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to promote before you can. So he gets his rook here, saying that he's ready to push it. I bring my king up. He pushes. I go here. He offers trade. I accept. Trade pawns. And I go here. Position's not that bad. He made a mistake, and that pawn is... Now, this is a backwards pawn, but it's not that bad. I'm just a pawn down. He moves king forward. I move pawn forward. You can tell he was low on time, and I was mad that I messed up, and then I'm a pawn down, so we were both going very fast. So I didn't have much time to calculate. Pawn here, looking for a break. I take, he takes, and I check. Now what I should have done is just move my king up. Check. King moves, and I go back. King goes here. I bring my king in. Pawn. Takes. Takes. Check. Rook blocks. Now, here's the trick question, which is that in endgame, where you are pawn down, and that pawn is a passed pawn, Do you trade off rooks, or do you try to keep your rook for chances? Me now, as like a 2100 rapid player, and you'll see my over the board rating as I go through the tournaments. You'll see it climb. What happens is that you should keep your rook on. It's the only way you can have counter play. However, watch the analysis bar. Look. Just by taking that rook, I am down 7.2. I'm down 29 on the analysis because I went and took a rook. Here, 35. That ruined my dramaticness. 36. He locks me down, and I resign. All of my moves go down. Say I go here. He wins my pawns. He pushes this pawn. I resign with dignity. Currently, I now am at I'm at 2 wins, 2 losses. My first 2 are wins. My third and fourth round were losses. So, this is the tiebreaker match against Albert Yang, a young prodigy who now is like 1400 over the board or something, who's also 900. This is another 900, and I'm like, okay, I got this. Final round up against a little kid. I can do this. I got this game. In fact, I might make this the thumbnail if anyone's still watching. So, we get e4. I'm like, okay, I got this kid. Sicilian. About to cook him. And little do I know, this little 900, like, 7-year-old kid knows the next 12 moves of perfect theory. Let's see how that goes. All of that is theory. All of that was just theory. I blitzed that out because this kid knows off the top of his head. I'm like, what? How? This is my first like shocking experience. That like, oh wait a minute, rating doesn't really mean much over the board. Online maybe, but rating doesn't mean much. This kid may be 900, but he knows an absurd amount of theory. So I go here, looking to attack him. The whole idea of the Sicilian. He gets an attack on my king. I get an attack on his queen. Incredibly aggressive opening. That's why I played it. So, as you can see, our ideas coincide. He goes here, and suddenly, I get this. His bishop goes here. Now what I should do is I should not think twice. I took it. I didn't realize that was bad. He takes, maybe it is because he gets a very powerful knight that can control these squares. Very good knight. So I kick the knight away. Only good move. He goes back. And now, let's look at the best move. Knight c4. So, in this position, I would like to say I spent about 2 minutes on the move. I have an hour and 20 minutes left on my clock. I've only spent 10 minutes so far. I have an hour and 20 minutes. I spend 2 minutes on the move that loses me the game. I'm winning. Make no mistakes. I am completely winning if I play knight c4. It's simple. I get a queen and a bishop. Queen moves. I pick up the bishop. That is one less defender for my attack. Or maybe I just like this. No, my bad. Wait, what is the move? Rook c8. I back up the knight. Okay. So I should just go here. That wins. That completely wins. It looks incredibly obvious. You fork. And you get a very nice knight. I get too eager. Queen comes into the attack. And the game is lost. Now, it says it's a draw, but that is with perfect play. He finds the only good tactic. What a brutal, brutal tactic. He goes here. Yeah, now the computer sees it. He takes a pawn, attacking my rook and my bishop. Now you're saying, oh, if you take, then what? He takes my queen. So what do? My queen and my rook are both under attack. Well, I should go here with dignity. Keep pushing on the attack. Hope for the best. Be down in exchange. Not the best way to move queen to safety. He finds why. He attacks my queen. And I go for a sneaky little tactic here. I take a pawn. Queen sack. Check, fork. I take his queen now. Except, the thing is that he does. This isn't checkers. He does have to take back instantly. He does. And not making a mistake, I should go here. But I was mad. So I blitz out the next move. I lose my rook. And I resign. We took my rook. Well, that was my first ever tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you are wondering, the provisional rating I got out of this tournament was 1,090. So that's not bad. For 2 wins and 3 losses, I got a rating of 1,090 estimated over the board rating. So I mean, I'll take it. I think that's a very interesting tournament, and tomorrow I will do my second ever tournament. I'll try to make these quicker, but I like the long form. Like, unless you want me to separate them to every round, which I might do for future tournaments that are like live. Otherwise, no. I hope you guys enjoyed those rounds, and have a great night, everyone.